For 50 straight years, one apple ruled America. It was the single most grown apple in the country, from the late 1960s all the way to 2018. At its peak, it made up 3/4 of every apple grown in Washington state, the biggest apple region on Earth. Billions of pounds of it, every year. For most of a century, when an American child drew an apple, this is the apple they drew. That apple is the Red Delicious. And today, it is a punchline, a symbol of everything wrong with supermarket fruit, dethroned in 2018 by the Gala, and still falling. The most successful apple in history became the one nobody wanted to eat. Everyone blames the supermarkets, or lazy shoppers with no taste. They are wrong. The Red Delicious was not killed by the store. It was killed in the orchard, by a decision the growers themselves made, one that nearly took the whole apple industry down with it. By the end of this video, you will know what an apple orchard actually costs, why the best apple on the shelf is one you are legally forbidden to grow, and how a single beautiful, tasteless apple rewrote the economics of the entire business. Start with the trees, because the apple business has quietly reinvented how they are planted. That old picture, a few big spreading trees you climb with a ladder, is dead. A modern orchard is a wall of fruit. Growers now plant high-density, 1,000 to 1,800 small trees per acre on wire trellises, like a vineyard. Those old Red Delicious blocks held just over 100 giant trees on that same acre. More trees, planted closer, on dwarf roots, means fruit sooner and far more of it. That density is not cheap. Establishing a high-density acre runs somewhere between $10,000 and $25,000, and the newest premium plantings cost far more. In Washington, growers upgrading to the latest club variety have spent around $35,000 an acre, and more than $60,000 if they had to buy the land too. So there are tiers. The wholesale grower, shipping fruit by the truckload to packers for pennies a pound. The direct seller, running a farm stand, a cider press, and a pick-your-own weekend at premium prices. And the premium variety grower, betting big money on a branded apple with a name you already know. Whatever tier you pick, one clock governs everything. You plant now, and you wait years before a real crop. Plant your first block, and here is what actually comes with it. You inherit the wait, though it is shorter than it used to be. A modern high-density orchard on dwarf roots gives you a little fruit in 2 to 3 years and a full crop by year 4 or 5. That is fast for a tree crop, but the orchard does not really pay back the huge planting cost until around year 6 or 7, and a traditional orchard can take 10 to 12. You are funding the trees for years before they fund you. You also inherit relentless work. Every tree has to be pruned and trained onto its trellis, thinned by hand so the apples grow big, protected from frost, and sprayed against a long list of pests and diseases that love an apple as much as you do. Harvest is a sprint of skilled hand labor, because a bruised apple is a worthless apple, and you inherit the single most important decision in the whole business: which variety to plant. That choice locks up your land for 20 years or more, and the apple that sells for a premium today can be a worthless commodity by the time your trees mature. Just ask anyone who bet their farm on the Red Delicious. An apple orchard makes money in layers, and they are not equal. Here they are. Layer 1. Wholesale fruit. Sell your apples in bulk to a packer, and you might get 20 to 60 cents a pound. It is a commodity, priced by supply and demand, and in a bad year, the price can fall below what it cost you to grow the fruit. Layer 2. Direct sales. Sell those same apples yourself at a farm stand or pick your own, and you get $1 to $3 a pound. Pick your own is the magic trick. The customer drives out, pays a premium, and harvests the fruit for you, turning your biggest labor cost into their family day out. Layer 3. Everything you build around the fruit. A cider press, a bakery selling apple donuts, a corn maze, hay rides, a pumpkin patch in October. Your orchard becomes a fall destination, and the apples are just the ticket in. Layer 4. And this is the one that changed everything. The variety itself. A premium branded apple like Honeycrisp can earn $50 to $100 more per box than a plain commodity apple. The apple you grow, not just how you sell it, now decides whether you win. Here is the fact almost nobody outside the industry knows. The best apples on the shelf are not open for anyone to grow. They are private property. For a century, apples were open. Any grower could plant any variety, as many trees as they liked. That freedom is exactly what created the Red Delicious disaster. Everyone planting the same apple until the market drowned. So the industry invented a new model, the club apple. Listen to that again. A modern premium apple is patented and trademarked and licensed to growers like a piece of software. You cannot just plant a cosmic crisp. It was bred by Washington State University, and, by agreement, only growers in Washington are allowed to grow it. An exclusive locked up until 2032. A grower just across the river in Oregon is legally shut out. That club controls how many trees go in the ground, which keeps the fruit scarce and the price high. Washington State has collected around $28 million in royalties on that one apple. The apple everyone wants to buy is one most growers are forbidden to plant. Turn the page to what leaves the account, and it starts long before the first apple sells. First, the planting itself, $10,000 to $35,000 an acre, spent up front. Then the trellis, the irrigation, and years of care while the young trees earn almost nothing. Then labor, the biggest ongoing cost by far, because pruning, thinning, and picking are all done by hand, and apples do not wait. Then the things that quietly bleed an orchard. Frost protection on a cold spring night, when a few hours can erase the whole crop. Spray programs all season long. Cold storage, so you can sell into spring instead of dumping everything at harvest. And on a premium variety, the license fee and royalty on every tree, paid to whoever owns the apple. Notice the squeeze. A commodity grower needs about $20 a box just to break even, and in the Red Delicious years, many were getting 15. Fixed costs, weather that can wipe a season in a night, and a fruit price you do not control. That is the shape of the ledger. Here is the trap, and it is the one the Red Delicious walked straight into. You are betting your land, for decades, on what a stranger will want to eat 10 years from now. Think about the timing. You choose a variety and plant it. Then wait years for a full crop, and those trees will stand for 20 years or more. But taste moves. A premium apple of today, the one selling for real money, can slide into a cheap commodity long before your trees are old, and you cannot unplant an orchard. You are locked into a single guess about the future. And now, there is a second trap layered on top. If the winning apple is a club variety, you may not be allowed to plant it at all. So you are caught between a commodity apple that barely breaks even and a premium apple that is locked behind a license. Guess wrong, or get shut out, and you spend a decade growing fruit the market has moved past. This is not a theory. It is the exact story of the most famous apple in the world. To understand how one apple can conquer and then ruin a business, go back to an orchard in Peru, Iowa, in the 1870s, and to a stubborn farmer named Jesse Hiatt. A seedling kept sprouting between the rows of his orchard, and Hiatt kept mowing it down. It kept coming back. A Quaker, he finally gave up and said, "If thee must live, thee may." Years later, that tree bore red and gold-streaked fruit, unlike anything he had tasted, and he called it the Hawkeye. In 1893, he shipped 4 of them to a contest run by Stark Brothers Nurseries in Missouri. Its president bit into one and shouted, "Delicious," and that became its name. Stark bought the rights and spent a fortune promoting it, around $750,000 over a decade, something like $25 million in today's money, mailing out free trees and advertising everywhere. It worked. By 1928, the renamed Red Delicious was the best-selling apple in the country. Growers everywhere ripped out other varieties to plant it. For the next 50 years, it was king. Now watch the king fall, because the way it happened rewrote the whole industry. This is the disaster that the club apple was invented to prevent. The Red Delicious rose on taste, but growers fell in love with its looks. They kept selecting for the deepest red color and the most durable skin, the traits that survived shipping and looked perfect in a bin. And season by season, they bred the flavor right out of it. By the end, the apple was gorgeous and hollow, thick-skinned, mealy, and bitter. Shoppers noticed. They started leaving it in the bin, but the trees were already in the ground, everywhere, because the old open system let everyone plant all they wanted. By the 1980s, 3/4 of Washington's apples were Red Delicious, and as demand cracked, the flood of unwanted fruit sent prices through the floor. It got so bad that in the year 2000, the federal government had to step in with aid to keep apple growers from going under. That crash is why the industry built the club model, patenting new apples and controlling the plantings, so that no single variety could ever flood the market and collapse the price again. The Red Delicious did not just fall. It scared an entire business into locking its own doors. So who thrives in this business now? 4 habits separate them. 1. They sell the experience, not the commodity. Pick your own. Cider, donuts, a fall festival, direct to the customer at premium prices, instead of dumping fruit on the wholesale market for pennies. 2. They grow what people actually want to eat, and they stay ahead of the shift. They plant the varieties on the way up, and they are not sentimental about ripping out one that is fading, the mistake that buried the Red Delicious growers. 3. They get into the premium game, either by securing rights to a club variety or by building their own brand and story around the fruit, so their apple is not just another commodity in the bin. 4. They plant high density and manage intensely for early crops, consistent quality, and enough yield per acre to survive the lean years. Underneath all of it, they understand the real business. An orchard is a bet on taste and a brand that happens to grow on trees. So does owning an apple orchard work? Let's run both sides. The good case: you plant a modern high-density orchard in the right varieties. You sell direct through a pick-your-own and a cider operation, and a well-run acre can throw off anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000. You own land that tends to appreciate, and a farm that families treat as a beloved fall tradition. Done right, it is a good and joyful business. The hard case: you wait years for a full crop, and a single frost on the wrong night can erase a season. You are locked for 2 decades into a guess about what people will want to eat. The best varieties may be fenced off behind a license, and if you guess like the Red Delicious growers did, you grow beautiful fruit that nobody buys. Commodity apples can sell below the cost of growing them, so here is the honest verdict. An apple orchard is far less a simple fruit farm than it looks, and far more a long bet on taste, brand, and the right to grow the winning apple. Get the variety, the density, and the direct sales right, and it rewards you for decades. Get the variety wrong, and the most famous apple in history already showed you exactly how it ends. You were never really growing apples. You were placing a 20-year bet on what a stranger will want to bite into. The Red Delicious made that bet on beauty and forgot to taste good. That is not a farming mistake. It is the whole business in one apple.